Good evening. We're on Daf Ayin Vav and Bet for today's Daf of Ayin Zayin, and we are continuing in the halachot that Rabbi Shimon holds regarding blood that was eligible for zrika is considered zorek, even though it wasn't done yet. And also the second part, second to last line, Rabbi Shimon holds that anything that's able to be redeemed is considered already redeemed. What case? Tanya the Brata says, Rabbi Shimon Omer, that Ayin Zayin Amar Aleph, not for long. Para, a para aduma that was slaughtered. You know how to have benefit. It can become tameh, even though right now it's not able to be eaten. Why? Because at one point it was ra'ui to be eaten. Turn the page. Amar Shakish says, Rabbi Shimon said, when was it ra'ui to be eaten? Para nifdet al the param abduma may be redeemed after it was slaughtered, while it was still there on top of the wood, while right before it was right after it was slaughtered. So seemingly, since you had a moment that you were able to be podet, it's considered pedui or peduyable, and therefore you're able to it's able to be alma, and therefore it's able to become tameh. Alma comment therefore anything that's able to be redeemed is considered already redeemed. Now the question is, but two ways explaining Rabbi Shimon in the Mishnah about why you are chayav for 4 or 5 in cases of hektish. So Rabbi Shimon said, Rabbi Yochanan said, specifically in a case of a tam animal outside of Beit HaMikdash, and Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish said a case of mum inside the Beit HaMikdash. So the Gemara says, why didn't they say like each other? I understand why Rabbi Yochanan didn't want to say for Lakish, they come because Rabbi Yochanan wanted to say the Mishnah is referring to all types of animals, even non-mum animals, even unblemished animals. Right? He didn't like the fact that Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish made it a dohak, a forced answer of saying only mum animals. How come Rish Lakish did not agree to Rabbi Yochanan? Rabbi Yochanan would say to you, Utvacho o mechar. The pasuk says you slaughtered it or sold it. What does that mean? If it's the animal is able to be sold, it's also has to be able to be slaughtered. Therefore, if it's not able to be sold, you can't slaughter it. And therefore, kochim has been kochim lav since you can't sell it. Let him your patur or slaughtering it as well. They go according to the opinions elsewhere as well. The itmar. According to the Rabbi Shimon, if someone's a thief that sold a terefa, the animal that's mortally wounded. So if he sold it, Rabbi Yochanan Amar Hayav Yechayav, Rish Lakish Amar Patur. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Hayav, Rabbi Yochanan Hayav Afagav Latam Tivicha, even though you can't slaughter it because it's a you can't eat that because it's a terefa, it's going to die. Etzim Mechira, you can still sell it. Rish Lakish Amar Patur, Rabbi Lakish Patur, Kevin Latam Tivicha, Let Mechira, since you can't, it's unslaughterable. Also, your patur if you sell it. Right. If you still a hybrid animal, so kilayim can be things that you plants or vegetables or vegetation that grew mixed together. It's asur. Also, if you hybrid animals, if you if you mix animals together as well, the offspring is asur b'hana'ah. So if you stole a pasul animal, the asur animal, and you slaughtered it, or if you stole a terefa and you sold it, you pay 4 or 5. My law, Rabbi Shimon, is not according to Rabbi Shimon. You see that even though terefa, which you can't slaughter, you could still be chayav for selling. When it says larda erbanan, it's even to karchamim. So the one says erbanan terefa mechira ita bizvichaleta. Only a terefa you can be selling, but not the slaughtering. The Gemara says, what do we want to explain it as? Checkmate either way. Rabbi Shimon, how do we explain to Rabbi Shimon? You can slaughter the kilayim, but you can't sell it. Rather, the case has to be talking about slaughtering. Even if you sell it by a kilayim. Also, you could sell it by a terefa. Also, the same thing would apply to slaughtering. Now, the Gemara doesn't like that. Rabbi Yochanan say, whoa. Rish Lakish, slow down. Hi, my. Amart Bishlam Rabbi Shimon makes sense according to Rabbi Shimon. I did the Tana Terefa Bachata since the Tana and the Mishnah said that you're chayav if you buy a terefa in one case, meaning you're chayav in terefa where you slaughtered it. Yes. So since you're chayav in one case where you slaughtered it, where you sold it, sorry, kilayim b'chata. If we mentioned the case of the kilayim as well, you're only chayav in one case of slaughtering, right? So stealing by the terefa, slaughtering by the kilayim, one and one. According to Chachamim who hold they are chayav by slaughtering or selling in both cases. Now, they should have mixed the cases together. Yani, our Mishnah separated the Braita that we wrote down separated one case of slaughtering by terefa and one case of selling by one case of slaughtering by the kilayim and one case of selling by the terefa. So that's the case that it doesn't make a difference. So the Braita should have mixed it. Ganav kilayim utrefa. If you stole a hybrid animal or a terefa, tivachan machnan, whether you slaughtered or sell them, you pay 4 or 5, no matter what's the case. According to Chachamim, that's how the Mishnah should have been written. If it doesn't make a difference, then the Gemara says, Kasha. It's a good question. Kilayim, regarding a hybrid animal, sektiv. The pasuk says a sheep. Amar says, this is something that we learn from. You say it's a template that what kol makom shenemar said. Whenever it says se, eno elo lohatzita kilayim, it excludes a kilayim, which seemingly says that over here that the se should be teaching you that if you sell a kilayim animal, you should be patur from 4 or 5. Over here's the Amar Kra o also says or, and o is the rabot of the kilayim. It includes the kilayim. Anytime it says or, it includes something. Shor or kesef, an ox or a lamb, prat l'kilayim, it excludes the kilayim. Or as or a goat, referring to a mutant animal, which means even though if it has 2 normal parents like 2 sheep, but if it looks like a goat, it's still pasul. So we see over there seemingly that even though it has o, we excluded a kilayim case. It's not an automatic. It depends on what the context of the pasuk. How? Over here by stealing, tichtiv shor or se, oxen, sheep. Oxen and sheep mixed together do not make a hybrid animal. Therefore, all the rabot kilayim. That word all over there teaches you to include a kilayim. Masha enkem. Now, however, gabe kochim, regarding the pasuk of kochim, where it said all, but there also tichtiv kesef ve'ez, where it said lamb or goat, which can produce a kilayim animal, or the word over there, it's excluding the kilayim animal. But regarding to kochim, it also says ox or a lamb, which does not have kilayim. In Rabbi, we should say learn over there to include the kilayim. Right. So similarly, another pasuk over there teaches you all with a another 2 animals that you can't make a kilayim animal, hybrid animal, and we should use that pasuk to include kilayim, like we did earlier, by the other case, by the case of theft. Where it says, since the second pasuk of or by the lamb or goat is excluding, so to over here you're also excluding. Where it says, whoa. Why are you assuming that way? Opposite. Maybe since the first pasuk, which said ox or lamb, maybe it's coming to include the kilayim. Maybe the second case is coming to include it. Why are you saying, oh, second one exclude, therefore first one exclude? Who says maybe first one include, second one include? Gemara says, "Hi, Mai. What kind of argument is this?" It makes sense to say that you're excluding it. That's why you need 2 pesukim to exclude. Why? The afagav there 8 kilayim, even though the kilayim is already excluded from one word or. You might think that a mutant animal, a weirdly looking animal, even though from natural parents, it's nidme. Therefore, you need the second pasuk to teach you to exclude the second one. But if you're trying to include the kilayim, why would you need 2 pesukim to teach me the same thing to include the hybrid? Now that the hybrid is included, it's made by we have to teach you the mutant. It's not a chidush. We need to exclude both to have separate pesukim. Over here, though, to include, you won't need both. Because if you're including the mixed animal, the actual mixed animal with the first pasuk, you don't need a second pasuk to teach you to include the mutant animal. Right? If the mixed animal is already the legit mixed item, then the weird regular animal is definitely included. Rather, what does it mean to teach you? Anytime that you have a bana'av, I mean the word ser teaches you to exclude the kilayim. So that was the halacha teach you. Either question, if you want to teach me that it teaches you that a kilayim animal is pasul for kochim, for korbanot, behedek tibu, shor or keser, ox or lamb, plus the kilayim, which already excluded it. Ilam Aser, we want to teach, maybe Rabbah teaches you to say that this chidush of se or kesef to excludes Kilayim by Maaser. Tahat, Yeliv Mikochim. We have Exeter Shavav from Tahat. That which teaches you what? Same halacha that applied to Kochim, applied to a Maaser, which means that also excludes a hybrid. So Ilam, so therefore, Ila Bechor, maybe you might teach me that you don't have to do a Bechorah by a hybrid animal. Habara Yelif Maaser. We know the word Habara has a Gzera Shava from Maaser, and Maaser learns from Kochim, and it passes over to the Bechorah. Maybe you might say that you can't use a hybrid animal because if you can't use the mutant, you for sure can't use that. Which means the pasuk said that the bechor of a shor, which means that it has to be a shor, the baby has to be a shor, and the parent has to be a shor to exclude a mutant, which should be excluding the mutant for sure, excluding the hybrid. Kilayim mibaya. Therefore, you need to teach me the kilayim. So we'll continue here tomorrow.